Alright, guys, so as I play some Fortnite, we're going to be talking about why working fast food is a good thing, especially if you're a young adult. Now, I'm not saying make it a career and stay there for a long time, but I'm saying if you use that to your advantage and you're young and you're still living with your parents, or maybe you're a young adult and you need another side job, I feel that fast food is the best route to go for temporary reasons, alright? So, to give you guys more context, I used to work Taco Bell from 2020 all the way to 2022, and I was working there at the start of the pandemic. I was about to graduate high school. I was 17 years old, and I worked there all the way to 19 years old. But pretty much, I remember, right? I've been like to give you guys more context too. I've been working all these 9 to 5 jobs the past 5 to 6 years. I've been working since 2019 when I was 16 years old. When I was still in high school, I was still doing sports and training and doing football and doing combat sports and running, swimming, taking college credit courses in school, growing up in the ghetto, going to church on the weekends and doing church programs and shit like that. Like there was so much things that I had to do, but also I was working all these 9 to 5 jobs. I was working at my landscaping company at 2019 to 2021. I was working Taco Bell from 2020 to 2022. I was working at my high school job from 2022 to 2023. I was working at Enterprise in 2022. I was working at dishwashing restaurants from 2022 to 2023. I was working at this Japanese restaurant. I was working at my warehouse company. Not my warehouse company, but like my warehouse job from 2023 to 2024. But I've been all around from different jobs, different positions, and learning different skill sets and different life lessons from working all these 9 to 5 jobs. But today, guys, we're going to be talking about why fast food can teach you so much different things that will be beneficial to you in the long run when it comes to making money, when it comes to business, when it comes to being a better version of yourself. Fast food is so important, I feel like, that you guys have to experience. So obviously, right, fast food, and you get some sort of income, blah blah blah, right? When I was working at Taco Bell, I was only getting paid $11 an hour, but one of the main things that it taught me was, despite how much I was getting paid, I had to work hard no matter what the reward was, right? So I was only 17 at the time, and what I used to do was, this is the pandemic too, so I remember I started in March, right? And my schedule would be 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. But I didn't have to go to school. I didn't have any, like, I had online school. All I had to do was go home and complete the online assignments and turn it in by midnight. So, I didn't have to be anywhere else besides going to work. Like, there was nothing to do during the pandemic. I wasn't going to stay home and play fucking video games. I wasn't doing YouTube, like, full time at the time. I wasn't doing anything. I didn't have to go to school, and I was just working, right? So, I remember my schedule would be 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. But what I would do is, my boss would always be like, there would always be some sort of fucking call outs. Like, people would be like, oh, I cannot come in from 4 to 10, blah, blah, blah. So, my boss, every time that somebody called out, it would get to the point where she would always ask the morning shift, oh, do you want to stay extra and do a double shift to cover for whoever called out that day? So it got to the point where every day there was some sort of fucking call out, and I remember she would always be asking the morning crew. So I would always volunteer because, like I said, right, there was nothing to do. I wanted more money, and I just, like, the job was pretty fun at the time because I was working with my boys. I was working with my boy Hank right over here, the one I always play Fortnite with, and I was, I had all my friends over there, so it was pretty fun. Like, I didn't mind staying, right? So I remember she was like, oh, who let go 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So I was like, me. So it got to the point where every single day she would always ask the same workers, me, my boy, or some other people, but it always be like me or Hank. And she'll be like, oh, you guys, like, any of you guys, like, stay 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.? And I will always be like, volunteer. I'll be like, I like do double shifts. I like more money. I like go hang with the boys. I like have fun at the job. It was pretty fun at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it got to the point where every day I was pretty much doing 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Right? There's nothing to do. There's nothing, blah blah blah. And then on the weekends I was working at my landscaping job. But it got to the point where my coworkers, they would come up to me, and even some of my friends, they'd be like, bro, why are you working so hard? Like, why are you doing double shifts? Like, you're only getting paid $11 an hour. And even, like, on my off days, my boss would call me in. She'd be like, hey, you want to come in work? Somebody called out. And I would always show up, and I would come in on my off days, and I'd come in even earlier, like 6:30 sometimes if I was scheduled at 4 p.m., I'll come in at 12 p.m. And I did extra. And people thought, oh, I was like, oh, why are you trying so hard at the job? It's just a Taco Bell job. It's just fast food. And my mentality was, why don't you want to try hard? Why don't you want to work hard even if the reward is little, right? This mentality that I was trying to instill in myself was, work hard no matter what the reward was, but because I could use that same mentality and work ethic into something bigger and greater. For example, if you're trying to start a business, let's take YouTube for example. You're not going to get paid realistically. You're not going to get paid on YouTube for, I don't know how, right? Your channel might not blow up. You're not going to get monetized right away, right? You need 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and you got to keep building it up, right? What are you gonna do, guys, when you see no results? You're gonna give up. You're gonna give up your YouTube dreams because, oh yeah, I'm not gonna work hard because YouTube is not paying me. I'm not getting any views. Or this is not fun anymore because I'm not getting a reward. Right? So it got to the point where my mindset was, if I wanted to be a successful content creator or even just a business owner for any business that I do, I realized that a lot of the times I'm not going to get instant gratification. I'm not going to have money right away. I'm not going to have the viewers that I want right away. People are not going to watch my shit right away. What am I going to do? Not give up? Not show up every day and make a video and record and edit the video and produce it? What am I just going to give up like a fucking loser? Right? So the whole Taco Bell thing was, even if I was getting paid minimum wage 11 an hour, I didn't give a shit. I was grateful because I was getting some sort of reward. No matter what the reward was, I was still gonna show up on time. I was still gonna do double shifts. I still was gonna be keep learning and improving my skill sets at the job, improving my skill sets in taking orders at the drive-thru, improving my skill sets in making the tacos more nicer, working quick and efficient, and learning different skill sets that a lot of people didn't know at that job. And a lot of people, you guys might laugh at me for talking like that, but I'm pretty prideful in what I do. In no matter what job that I do, I take pride. I love doing a good job because it's just who I am. I don't know what it is, but no matter what it is, if it's a sport, if it's church, if it's showing up to Taco Bell, if it's my landscaping job, if it's my high school job that I worked at, if it's a warehouse job, if it's DoorDashing or Uber Eats, I gotta make sure that I do my best in it, and I make sure that I do as much as I can, even if it's YouTube, making content, making videos. Even if I'm on vacation with my girl and our room is messy, right, in the hotel, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna clean that shit up, and I'm gonna make sure the housekeepers, they get a good tip. I don't care if that's their job, they get paid. But for me, guys, my mentality, I work hard no matter what the reward is. I'm not trying to be egotistical, but this mentality and mindset is going to take you so far in life with your business, with your careers, right? With YouTube, right? Like a lot of people, they give up because why? Oh, I'm not getting views right away. And that's why a lot of people, they're not successful because they don't work hard no matter what the reward is. They want instant gratification right away. They expect it to happen right away. They don't believe in delayed gratification, I guess. I don't know. Not only that, but working hard. Maybe if it's obviously business related, but also maybe you're trying to go to the gym. Maybe you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to get muscular. You think you're going to see results right away in 1 month? Like, you think you're going to get instant gratification? Are you going to stop working hard because, oh, maybe the progress is a little bit slower and you're not expecting, like, oh, man, like, this is not what I expected and, oh, this and that. It's like, bro, what, you're going to give up because you didn't see results right away? Your reward isn't big? Right? You didn't get instant gratification. So that whole mentality that's stupid to me. And then that's why I was looking at these young people, right? They're like the same age as me, a little bit younger. They were still in high school. And I was looking at them and said, bro, why don't you want to work hard? Why are you calling out all the time? Why are you doing no call, no shows? You need to show up every single day to be successful in whatever venture that you're going to get into the future. So start working hard now. I don't care if it's Taco Bell or McDonald's or Jack in the Box or freaking Wendy's, freaking Pizza Hut, or freaking the shitty ass company that pays you $6 an hour. Work hard. All right, I don't give a fuck what the fucking thing is, what your job is. If it's folding clothes, if it's wiping the tables, if it's taking orders at the restaurant, if it's housekeeping at the hotel, I don't care what it is. Work hard and be the best worker that you can be, so you can apply that mentality into something greater that'll make you more successful in life, right? So that's what it taught me. Work hard with little to no reward. It also, number two, it taught me better communication skills, which is so important in running a business, right? When you're trying to get the job of your dreams or you're trying to get into the college, you need to do a one-on-one interview. You think our interviewee guy is going to take the guy who's quiet, who's shy, who's intimidated, who doesn't know how to speak and, whatever off of his mind, he doesn't know how to go ahead and give a speech. Like, you think these guys are going to give a shit about you? They're not going to take you serious. You need to improve your communication skills, right? Maybe you're trying to get the girl of your dreams. Maybe, the girl, no girls realistically, guys, is going to come up to you and start asking you out, even if she has a crush on you. I know this from personal experiences. No girl, she might like you all she want. She might show signs, but she's never going to come up to you and say, oh, you want to go out on a date? Like, that's unrealistic. She wants the guy to come out. She wants a masculine guy to come up to her and ask her out, right? And so you guys need better communication skills. She wants a charismatic guy. She wants a confident guy who can come up to her and say, hey, what's up? I've been, I know we've been talking as friends a little bit, but maybe you want to go out with me on a date. And then when you guys go on a date, you guys can have conversations. You guys can talk about life. You guys can talk about your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, talk about your accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? And she loves charismatic, confident dudes who know how to speak, right? Like I tell you guys, communication skills, takes you far in life. If you know how to speak, you know how to be articulate, you know how to convey your message, and not only that, but maybe you're trying to persuade a family member, hey, stop fucking drinking alcohol, you jackass. Stop freaking smoking weed. It's not healthy for you. And you know how to communicate and convey your message and persuade them and convince them to stop doing the things like those things. They're gonna listen. I promise, because communication skills is so important. Maybe you're a salesman, you're trying to sell your product, or you're trying to go door to door, right? Who's gonna win? The guy who knows how to speak better, or the guy who's quiet and doesn't know how to speak and articulate? The guy who knows how to speak, right? He's gonna convince you, right? Bruh, like this is so important. So I remember when I was working at Taco Bell, I was at the drive-through for like 1 year straight, from 2020 to 2021. I was working at the drive-through, but it just taught me so many different things, like how to speak better, how to interact with strangers, how to go ahead and just not be shy, how to be confident when I speak, how to have good eye body posture and eye contact with people to make them feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So communication skills, it goes very deep. It goes hand to hand in being successful, and that's something that Taco Bell taught me. Number three, what it taught me was stoicism. Now, stoicism is also another big thing, because I see a lot of people, they get so emotional when something bad happens. Maybe somebody on the street cut them off and they start yelling at the fucking guy and they start arguing. And why? Because they don't know how to control their emotions. They could have just said, okay, sorry, you know what, let's just go on our way, let's just go, right? I don't want trouble. I don't want to get into beefs. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want people around me to get hurt. Let's just go ahead, move on, process the emotions, and go. That's stoicism, right? Learning how to control your emotions and learning how to process it and, analyze it. Why do you feel that way? And then after you analyze and process it, then you find a way and a positive outlet to release that energy, right? You don't build it up in you. You don't release it in a way where you're going to knock someone's ass out for fucking looking at you the wrong way or accidentally bumping into you. That's not the way to go. Because why? There's going to be consequences, right? And you don't want to fucking jeopardize your future or people around you, right? Because you didn't know how to control your emotions. So when I was at Taco Bell, every single day, there was always a fucking jackass customer that comes to the drive-thru, talks his shit, and leaves. And not only just customers, but maybe a coworker. They'll piss me off, and I'll be like, you know what, bro? Whoo, gotta calm down. You know what I'm saying? I don't like react. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the way. So let me give you guys some funny stories real quick. So I remember, right? So 2020 was a pandemic, and there was this weird thing was, it was only the drive-thru that was open. You could walk into the dine-in, but it would be like you couldn't eat inside. So like you would have to take your food and leave. So like nobody could stay inside. The bathrooms was closed off. Nobody could enter. So a lot of people, they'll just come to the drive-thru, right? And when they come to the drive-thru, there was this whole stupid rule. There's freaking signs everywhere at the drive-thru, at the window, that said no mask, no service. But yeah, guys, I remember there would be a rule called no mask, no service, right? So there would always be people where there was always these, like, you know, those coworkers where they always gotta follow the rules. They always gotta, oh man, yeah, the boss is gonna come and get us in trouble and she's watching the cameras. So there'll be managers like that, and also there'll be like, there wasn't even managers, but there was like a coworker. I remember there was this big fucking white dude, and he was like in his 40s at that time. And I remember he was always like the kind, like he was joking around and acting stupid. Like, I don't know if he was off the spectrum, but he was the type where he was like, I have to follow the rules. I have to do what I'm told to do. I'm a fucking sheep. But anyways, every time that, and there was another dude too, like he was like the guy, like a guy the same age as me, and he was the type like he had to follow the rules or else like he's gonna go crazy. Like he was like, I have to tell them to wear a mask, no mask, no service. Like and he would always be like, 5K, make sure that you tell them, yeah, put the mask on. I'm like, bro, you fucking, bro, shut the hell up, right? You know what I'm saying? Telling me what to do. Anyways, there was always people like that, right? Coworkers, and then so obviously, right, people are gonna come to the drive-thru. They're not gonna get the memo, so they come to the drive-thru, right? I have my mask. Like us workers, we had to wear masks. That was required, right? Obviously. And then the guys, the customers, they come to the drive-thru in their car now, windows roll down, no masks, right? So for me, guys, my personal take was, I'm not trying to be controversial or sound political, but to me, guys, it's like, okay, the COVID, was it really that bad? You know what I'm saying? But not only that, but like I believe, like my whole take is my whole health thing is I do a lot of natural holistic things. You know what I'm saying? To keep me healthy. Like I do a lot of natural supplements. I do a lot of natural holistic things that I take. I do acupuncture. I do Chinese herbs. I do chiropractor. I drink water every day. I do exercise training, combat sports, gym, running, whatever, swimming. I do, stay healthy in that way. I eat healthy foods. I don't eat fast food or drink soda or drink alcohol or smoke or vape. Right, I stay positive all the time. I get sunlight. I do grounding. I do therapy kind of exercises, whatever. I do tai chi and qigong and cupping. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Freaking what is that called? Those other things. Yeah, grounding. I pray to God. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, guys, like, I wasn't scared of that kind of thing because I'm always taking care of myself, right? Like, I know that there's other methods and other natural things to make you stay healthy and protect your immune system. So for me, I didn't really care if somebody came with no mask. I already was wearing a mask, and you know, at the same time, I'm like, bro, I'm already doing my part to stay healthy. Like, what are you scared about? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the frick, right? But anyways, everybody was scared of all this kind of COVID. It was a different time in our life, and you know, like, I kind of forget how it was in the moment. But a lot of people, that was my mentality. I was like, I wasn't really scared. And to me, it was just like, bro, like, we have to run the drive-through. There's so much cars and stuff like that. Why we gotta make a big fuss out of it? Like, who gives a shit if they have masks? Can I just open? Like, I already have a mask. We can just like throw the food out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could have just been easier if we just give them the food and fucking get the hell out, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you making the job harder. You making it to the point where I have to be more stoic now because this guy is pissing me off and my coworkers are being dumbasses. So for me, I didn't give a fuck. But there was this white dude, right? Every time that he came to work, right? He was working in the mornings, but he would pull up at the drive-through, not pull up at the drive-through, but he'll be working at the drive-through at the cashier. And every time that somebody didn't come with a mask, he, even if the customer's talking, he's like, hey sir, blah blah, can I add on? He fucking shuts the window on them, and then he shuts it hard. He's like slams the window. I'm like, bro, what the fuck, right? What if the guy he like come whoop your ass because you're acting all wise ass, like, oh yeah yeah, oh put your COVID mask on, fucking pussy. And this dude too, he's like fucking overweight. This white cork is overweight, fucking special, off the spectrum. He's fucking like, he had gout and shit like that. He was like obese and he had like diabetes. I'm like, bro, you worried about a mask? Go ahead and fucking lose some weight first. Focus on your gout and your diabetes and your high blood pressure. Maybe that wouldn't kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking do something like that. Take care of your fucking health that you can control. You can't control someone with the COVID. Oh, mask, mask, mask. Do your part and stay healthy by doing shit like that. Take care of your fucking self. Right? So he would piss me off too because he would make such a big deal. And whenever I wasn't the one, like, he's like, wait, 5K, why you not telling him wear the mask? You gotta wear them. What if here's your grandma that got sick? I said, bro, my fucking grandma's retired. She's fucking home, safe. You know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bruh, come on, guys. Stop being a pussy. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a, this is not a fucking zombie virus. Oh, shit. Oh, zombies. Like, fucking pussy ass. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, sorry, guys. I'm not trying to offend anybody or be political, but I'm saying that if everybody did their part to stay healthy, this wouldn't be an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, come on. Be educated about natural, holistic things. So, anyways, this guy was overreacting. He's like, 5K, why don't you... Like, he was... That's not my name, guys, but, you know what I'm saying? He's like, 5K, put the mask on. He was telling everyone, yeah, at the drive-thru, bro, just make sure you guys put the mask, guys. No mask, no service. He's like fucking pissing me off, right? So I was like, bro, calm your ass down. So anyways, he would slam the window on people, and then there's like people, they would get mad at him and they would be like calling him out and they want to scrap. And there's this other dude too, like the same coworker, like a different coworker, but he had the same mentality. He'll go up to like the freaking those customers and he'll be like, oh yeah, you gotta wear masks. And then like there's this lady one time, she got mad at the guy for telling her to wear a mask, so she started filming him and he started arguing and like getting into like a freaking argument and shit like that. I was like, bruh, this is so childish. So that was one of the ways I had to practice my stoicism. There was this other thing where in 2021 where I remember I had to go ahead and my boss and everybody, Taco Bell was trying to be like Chick-fil-A. They were trying to find ways to, you know, speed in the speed of service because our speed of service was freaking slow, right? Our SOS was freaking slow because we had slow ass workers. Because people like the guy with the COVID mask, oh, put your mask on, like fucking crying like a bitch, right? So, anyways, you have people like that slowing everything down. You had slow ass Filipino ladies, freaking grandmas working, making the food. I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, our service is so fucking terrible. Anyways, it got to the point where they're giving us these iPads, and what we had to do was we had to stand outside and we had to take orders with these purple iPads at the drive-thru, right? So we had to like collect their cards, we had to collect their payment outside with this card machine reader, and then if they had to pay cash, they had to drive to the window and pay at the register. And then we had these iPads that would take the order, and they was thinking if we was to take the order quicker, then you know we'll get the order quickly made her. You know, I don't know, right? I don't know what the fuck. There was a stupid ass system, and the iPads would keep freezing. The internet was so slow. It just didn't make sense. People was getting confused at the drive-thru because they were like, oh wait, whose order is this? Like, it would just be randomly, like, it was just chaotic at that time. So I didn't agree with that system. But I remember when people would drive up to the drive-thru, and then I remember there's this lady, like she was like this fucking lady, like she was like, she pulls up in a Tesla and I'm standing at the drive-thru. I'm like, hey ma'am, can I take your order right over here? And she was like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk and take order with the the drive-through speaker. I'm like, ma'am, there's no order taker inside. My job is I got put out here, and our whole new system is we're gonna try and implement this iPad thing, and I have to take your order outside here, so I can give you whatever time that you want to look at the menu, and you let me know when you're ready, so I can take your order. And then she was like, no, 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 I'm not gonna, like, she was ignoring me. She was just like staring, and then she went to the drive-through window, and then nobody was answering her, so she drove to like the window, whatever. And I was like, bro, this fucking idiot, right? Like, I was getting mad already. She was like, oh, blah blah blah. She's making all kind of excuses why she don't like take order with me. She like take order at the freaking speaker. I said, bro, you know what? So luckily there wasn't no cars behind me, and I had my other boy. He was outside to cover for me. So I went inside to the window because nobody was there, right? Nobody was there. So I go inside. I'm like, I opened the drive-through window. Like, hey, ma'am, it's me again. What? You want me to take your order right over here? I was already getting mad already. I was like, bro, this fucking idiot, yeah, coming here with a Tesla. She thinks she all good, yeah, looking down on me because I only 17 years old working at Taco Bell during a pandemic. So, anyways, I was like, ma'am, I can take your order right here now. You know what I'm saying? I could have took your order outside. Just make it more efficient and smooth. And then I remember, like, I don't know what she was saying. She was like saying some wise ass remarks, and I said something like, "Oh, like, I forget what I said." I was like, "Oh, so you want to take the order now with me because I'm inside, but you didn't want to take it outside at the drive-through?" Like, I was getting, like, for me, guys, fuck, bro, I was getting so irritated. Like, I was getting wise ass too with her, you know what I'm saying? But I had to control my emotions, guys. That was the lesson, right? Stoicism, and keep it professional. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, bro, this lady, she like speech and debate me. I'm all down for it, you know what I'm saying? And I slap her husband too if I have to. Anyways, no, I'm just kidding, guys. No physical altercation, please. But anyways, I took her order. And then after that, after she got her order, she's acting all like, there's like, she trying to kind of change her attitude. Like, I fucking hate when those people, like, they come in here with, like, fucking something up their fucking nose or their ass, where they're like, oh, yeah, look, I think I'm better than you. Like, that was the energy she was coming off of, like, oh, I don't like to take order with you. I like to, kind of like a bitch, right? But anyways, she changed her attitude after, because sometimes, guys, right, that's what also what it taught me, not stoicism, but there's times where you need to stand your ground. People are only going to run you down because they know that you're easily able to run down. Like, people are gonna talk shit on you or like act wise with you because they're expecting you to not reciprocate that same energy back to them. And so I gave that same energy back. I said, you know what? I stood firm. I stood grounded. I said, you're not gonna talk to me like that. I don't care if you older than me or whatever. This is my position in the job. I'm supposed to be taking orders outside with this iPad. And now that you came up to the drive-thru, there's probably cars waiting outside, and now I gotta go back outside and hustle because you're being selfish and you're being stupid and you didn't care about the system. You know, oh, I just need food. And then after I said all those kind of things, then she kind of changed her attitude, and she was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she was kind of like acting like smiley and stuff like that. And then I gave her food, and I didn't want to be a jackass, so I said, hey, ma'am, have a good day, okay? I didn't mean to talk like that. And she's like, oh, yeah, you too, have a good day. But to me, guys, it's like, that's stoicism right there, right? I'm not trying to be braggy or egotistical, but there's times in life where you gotta stand firm, you gotta stand your ground, don't be a pussy, but also you guys gotta be stoic. You don't react. I could have just, like, I remember this other coworker, like, he was screaming at a customer one time because he was mad, and like he was fucking, like, he was like those kind of guys, like, he had emotional outbursts all the time. I'm gonna tell you guys another story. There was this dude, right? He was like my old friend, but he used to work at Taco Bell, and he would always be the type, like, he would get mad literally at the job. Like, I remember like anything would piss him off. If something didn't go his way, he would get mad, and then he'll be like in a corner just all mad, and he'll be like clenching his fists, and then he was like literally looking mad, like he was about to fucking hurt somebody. And then one time, like, he was getting mad at like this girl coworker, and he wanted to fight her, like literally fight her, and they had to break it up. And then, yeah, like, it would just get to the point where, like, people like that wasn't stoic. Like, he didn't know how to control his emotions. You know what I'm saying? So I remember, like, yeah, it's just crazy. I remember one time too, one of my coworkers, he got into a physical altercation, and he started punching one of our other coworkers because they got into an argument. Like, he started cracking him, like he's fucking punching him in his face. I wasn't there, but people told me the story, and yeah, that was freaking crazy. But stoicism is key, guys. Another important thing that I learned at Taco Bell is working under pressure. Working under pressure is so important, because in life, when you're trying to run your business, when you're trying to go to the gym, when you're still trying to pay your bills and take care of your family and your girlfriend, and you got to travel here and there, and you got to work these jobs, and you still got to go ahead and do this and do that, all these different tasks, you're working under pressure, right? A lot of pressure, a lot of people, they can't handle pressure. When pressure hits, they fold. And that's not going to be, you're not going to be successful in that sense. You need to learn how to work under pressure. And you need to learn how to reprogram your mind to the point where you take pressure in a good way. Because a lot of people, when they take pressure, they take it in a bad way. They think, I can't do it. This is so hard. Oh, but you got to learn to enjoy the heat. You got to learn to enjoy the pressure, right? So just take pressure as if, like, God is making me stronger with pressure. All these things that I'm going through with the pressure is making me a better version of myself, is giving me different, better life attributes, is making me more mentally and physically stronger, because whatever, it's pressure, right? Pressure makes, sometimes you need something to literally like whoop your ass to make you stronger. And I'm not saying physically, but like life might just whoop your ass one day. You know what I'm saying? You might go through these things, and what are you gonna do? Pressure hits, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, I give up. I give up." It makes you stronger, guys. So don't give up, okay? It makes you stronger. It makes you more confident. It builds up your skill sets and your experiences and your life attributes and your lessons. It makes you a better version of yourself. So don't ever give up under pressure. Taco Bell taught me a lot about pressure, because there's things where you have to like manage everything. Like I remember, like there's always coworkers that didn't pull their part. And there was like people like freaking old Filipino grandmas working with me. I liked them, but they were just slow. They didn't know how to speak English well. Like it was just like it was hard to communicate with them. I freaking tell them, "Hey, bro, hey, grandma." What we call them in Filipino? They call them ate or something. Yeah, ate. Yeah, but I call them auntie. Cause you know what I'm saying, I'm not full Filipino, but I'm local Hawaiian, right? So I just call them auntie. But all the Filipino workers in me are like, ate, can you drop the chalupa? I was like, hey auntie, drop the chalupa already. Fucking moving slow. We're busy. Nah, I didn't yell at her like that, but I was just like, auntie, come on, auntie, pull your part. And she said, oh, okay, bulong. Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry, bulong. Like I was like, bruh, fucking. Like people didn't pull their part. There's people like at the drive-thru, they kept fucking up the orders. They didn't know how to like order take. Like there was this Filipino boy, fucking like he like, nah, I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but like they had like, it was like a speech barrier. Like it was just hard, and sometimes they'll fuck up the order. And then I told this other person, he's like passing out the wrong order. I said, bro, fucking pass out the correct order now. We gotta redo the order. So there was times where people wasn't doing their part, and it was pressure, right? Like we'll be so short-handed, and it'll be so busy. They'll be so short-handed. It'll be just pressure, but it was fun. You gotta enjoy the fun. You gotta enjoy the pressure, guys. It makes you a stronger version of yourself. Also, not only that, but it taught me multitasking skills. Life is all about multitasking. If you want to be a better version of yourself, you got to make sure you focus on every aspect of your life, whether it be mental, spiritual, physical, internal, your relationships with God, your spiritual, your communication skills, your fighting skills, your sport, your businesses, your finances. You have so much things that you have to manage, especially as a young man. You need to manage a lot of different things, right? As a leader, as a husband, as a boyfriend, as a son, right? You got to do so much things for your family, right? I'm speaking for males because I'm not a female, so I'm speaking to all the young males right now. But you have so much things that you got to do that you have to multitask. You can't just focus on one thing in your life. Oh, go to work and come home and jerk off. Like, you got to multitask. You got to do so much different things in your life. And I feel like with Taco Bell, it taught me so much multitasking skills. Like, I remember when I come in early in the morning, right? I come in early purposefully at 6:30 because there was always delivery on Monday mornings. Like the guy will drop off all like the boxes and the meats and the supplies, and they would just like, they don't put it on, like we had to go and restock it on the shelf, and we would have to like take in first out kind of rule. And so like, yeah, I remember I come in early, and then at 7 o'clock, that's when the store opens and the drive-thru opens. So I have a headset on me, and I'm working with this lady manager. And she was kind of like, she was okay, but she was like a slacker. And like, she would always go outside and smoke. And like, she was hiding in the back. And like, she would only come out and help whenever there was a customer. So she was a slacker, but she was the manager in charge, right? And then there was like these other two grandmas, kupunas, freaking Filipino ladies. And like, they didn't know how to take orders at the drive-thru or at the front because they didn't know how to speak English. And like, they were super slow too. So I was like, bro, come on, aunties. Come on, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I remember when I had to come in, I had to do the delivery super quickly as possible. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, I had to grab my headset. And then while I was holding my headset, I had to multitask. I had to do like the cinnamon twist. I had to like put it in all these bags. And we had to make like 12 pans of these every single day and put it in the heater. Anybody who worked Taco Bell, you know what I'm talking about. Then we had to make like 10 pans of chips. We had to put it in the bag, you know what I'm saying, for the nachos. We had to make sure that the food was ready, the line, the meats was cooked in the hot water. We had to boil it for like 30 minutes or so. We had to make sure that the nacho cheese, the chicken, the steak, everything was good and situated. I had to make sure that we had to put all the Taco Bell sauces in these bottles, and pretty much we had to make like a certain amount for the day, and then we had to put it in on the cold line or in the back. We had to make sure that the tomatoes and everything, there was so much prep to do, and there was so much multitasking. So while I'm trying to do all these prep and the morning things, there was customers coming at the drive-through, ding ding ding, in my headset. So I said, "Hey sir, hi, welcome to Taco Bell. How can I take your order?" And then take their order. Then I had to do both positions at the drive-through. I had to take orders, collect the cash, and then like it was crazy because when I'm trying to collect the cash, right, I'm trying to like take another guy's order. So I'm like talking to like one of the customers at the cash, at the drive-through. I'm like, "Oh, okay, sir. Yeah, it's gonna be 100. It's gonna be $20." And the fucker pulls out $100 bills, and I get $100 bill. I'm like, "Bro, I don't even have change in my register. Like, we didn't even start the day yet. They giving me $100." So I'm like running to the back to find the manager, and she's not even there. She's outside fucking jerking off or smoking. I don't know what she's doing. But yeah, pretty much. I was like, I had to find my manager, and she wasn't there. And then there was like more customers coming in at the front, and then it was just beeping at the drive-through. And I was like, "Dang, bro, like it's just chaotic, bro." You know what I'm saying? And then like I had to make like the coffee, and the coffee takes long to make. And then like I'm trying to make a soda, and the soda freaking somebody forgot to refill the soda on the back. And then after that, it's just chaotic and crazy. And I'm like, "Bro, grandma dropped freaking chalupa and dropped the Cinnabons, and freaking give me some food." You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. Like multitasking was very crazy at Taco Bell. Anyways, guys, that's something that obviously that everybody needs to practice in today's society. Multitasking, because you have to focus on every realm possible to be a better version of yourself. So that's what Taco Bell taught me. Taco Bell taught me actually like so many different things, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like discipline, accountability, showing up on time, being the best, just making sure that I take care of everything, even if the reward is little. But yeah, it taught me so many different things. But if you guys work fast food, it can teach you so many different things as well. But I feel like it was more beneficial to me because I was literally forced there to work because there was no other jobs during the pandemic. I was still working at my landscaping job, but everybody was getting unemployed. Everybody was, wasn't hiring because no businesses was open. All the companies was closing because there was no customers coming in, and so the only thing was like these big franchises, right? Fast food was open. There was no restaurants that was open because there was only like you can't eat inside. You have to social distance. So yeah, like I was, I kind of like that. That's the reason why I stayed there a long time too, is because I was with my boys and it was fun. But there was literally no jobs I was hiring. It was either work at freaking McDonald's or Jack in the Box or Taco Bell. Like there was nothing to do. There was no car rentals. There was no airport jobs. There was no hotels. I was at my landscaping company, but I was already employed there, so that's why I was still working over there. I couldn't work at a school. I couldn't work at anything like security. I couldn't work at construction. Like there was no fucking work going on. There was no like nothing, guys. Like there was nothing. Car detailing, nothing. It was only fast food. Like I don't remember any other jobs open at the time. Fast food, like what I'm saying. Like so, I think that's why it was so more beneficial to me, and that's why I was able to stay there a long time. Was because because of the COVID. So COVID taught me a lot of things too, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like it got me into certain situations, and it made me get into certain situations, and it made me learn a lot of different things. But pretty much, guys, that was my Taco Bell career for like 2 years, and I'm gonna just tell you guys like what happened to it. So I remember 2020 was pretty decent year at Taco Bell, but 2021, that's when it was kind of like down spiraling, and it got to the point where I think like the treatment of the job, my boss, she was getting a little bit unfair. You know what I'm saying? Like it got to the point where I remember one time specifically was I remember me and my boy, right? We went on break, and then like we came back from break like 30 minutes late. Like we was on an hour break, but it was supposed to be only 30 minutes. But then we got back, and then my boss, she was waiting outside, and she rolled us up. And I was getting mad at that because over the fact that there was so many other workers that did the exact same thing, that would do no call, no shows. They'll come in late. They'll call out all the time. They'll be shitty at their job, but they never got written up over doing stuff like that. But whenever it was like, I always noticed that my boss, she would always pick on the good workers. Like she would never let the good workers slide. Like I was there every single day. I was doing every position. I was charismatic at the job. I was entertaining at the job. I was with my boys, you know what I'm saying, having fun. I was coming in on my days off and doing double shifts. But I noticed that all the good workers that would always come in all the time, she was always the one not picking on us, but I guess she was like she expect us to do more. Like I don't know what it was, but all the bad workers that was useless, she would never get them in trouble. Like I don't know what it was, but that's why like for me guys, when she did that to me, that was in 2021, I got irritated and I got mad because I was like, bro, like we do so much things. And yes, guys, I admit, guys, I was only 18 at the time, but I shouldn't have came back late. And I would not vouch for what I did, you know what I'm saying? But I was younger at the time and I was kind of more hard-headed, but what I would change is I wouldn't have done the way that, I wouldn't handle it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it should have been different. But I remember I was getting irritated because it got to the point where she was only picking on certain workers, and that was the people that was useful, that would show up every single day, that was dependable, that was reliable, that was good at multitasking. But it got to the point where she was picking on us. So when she wrote me up, that was my first write up, yeah, I was just irritated. And then there's some other things too, like I remember I was saying, oh man, I want to go in food service in 2021, but they didn't want to put me on because blah blah blah, and they was coming up with all kinds of excuses. That was something that was kind of irritating me. And then yeah, I remember towards the end of 2021, it got to the point where I wasn't like necessarily tired of the job, but it was getting to the point where I feel like it was getting very unfair. The treatment was getting unfair, and I feel like a lot of things was just I didn't want to. I was waiting for the pandemic to end so I could reapply for another job, right? But it got to the point where I was waiting for November. In November 2021, that's when I could have used my. We had like I don't know what it was, but it was like you could have like paid time off or something. I forget, or like vacation or whatever. So I was getting all my vacation hours, and I wanted to take off over Thanksgiving break. So I remember I was off for a little bit for Thanksgiving break. And I remember that's when I started dating my girl, and I told my boss, "Hey, boss, I'm not gonna come in over the weekend. You need to find somebody else to replace me, and I'm telling you in advance. I requested off weeks in advance, but I'm letting you know directly that I'm not gonna be coming in." And then this is what my boss said. She was like, "Oh yeah, well, that's your job to find somebody to replace you, and that even if you told me you have to find somebody to replace you, if nobody comes in to replace you, you're gonna get suspended." So I was like, you know what, this fucking lady, bro. I do so much for her. I do so much for the company, right? I give it my all during the pandemic, especially, and she thinks that she has the nerve to tell me that I can't take off for a couple of days, only for 2 days, right? Only for 2 days. And then so I was just a little bit irritated. I was like, yeah. But even rewind before that, guys, even before that incident, there was another incident that I just remember now in 2021 where I came in at 7 in the morning and I had bad allergies that day. Like my boys, everybody was with me and they're like, "Hey, bro, you okay?" I kept sneezing. My nose was running. I kept, like, when I have allergies, guys, back then, I kept, like, it would just be constant. I couldn't, like, it would just sneeze, mucus flying out, everything coming out, and my nose was itchy. I had to keep changing my gloves and re-washing my hands like every 10 minutes. And it got to the point where I told my boss, "Hey, boss," she was there that day. I was like, "Hey, boss, I can go home like maybe 1 p.m. because, yeah, bro, I get allergies. I'm not sick. Like, whenever the weather's bad, I get bad allergies. And, I just need to go home and take my allergy medicine and rest." So she let me go home at 1 p.m. She was there. She saw me like I was under the weather, right? I had like freaking sneezy and shit. So that night, I still had allergies. And I said, you know what? I kind of just like take the day off tomorrow. And I don't call out. I never, ever called out ever. And this was kind of like my first couple of times I called out. So I texted my boss and I said, "Hey, boss, I'm not gonna come in tomorrow because I'm not feeling well. Like, I'm still gonna rest. You saw me sick today." You know what she texted me, guys? She said, "Be ready to when you come back from work. When you come back to work, if you don't show up tomorrow, be ready to sign your write up." So that's what fucking pissed me off. That's what kind of started like the thing where I was like, "Bruh, this freaking lady, she irritating, right?" So that was kind of like, I was like, that was like the start of like the unfair treatment already. I was like, "Bruh, you telling me I no call out ever for 2 years, almost 1.5 year, almost 2 years. I come in every day on my days off. Every day you text me. I was supposed to be there at 12 p.m. You texting me at 9 in the morning. Oh, can you come in right away?" I wake up, I get ready, I go walk to work. Freaking go to work already. "Oh, you want to say double shifts?" I say yes. She was getting to the point where I was like, "Bro, this is unfair. I called out one day. You saw me, I was sick, under the weather, sneezing and shit like that. I need the days off. I need to rest." Right? And so, "Oh, no, you gotta sign your write-up." So that was already something that happened. But when I came to work, she didn't do the write-up. I don't know if she forgot or maybe she realized that she was wrong. Like, I was just freaking irritated, right? And then of course in the November situation, it was getting to the point where she was like, "No, you can't take off. You gotta go find somebody to work." So obviously, guys, right? I was very rebellious at that time. I was very hard headed when I was 18, 19 years old. And obviously, guys, I should have handled it in a different situation. But I didn't show up that day. I called the MIC, the manager in charge that day. There's always different managers in charge on different shifts. I called the MIC. I said, "Hey, I'm not coming in today. I already told my boss." Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, she texted me after I didn't come in. She's like, "Oh, what? You didn't come in?" I was at the hotel with my girl. I remember I was in bed. I was just chilling. And it was November 2021. I remember the same exact moment too. I was down in the bed. Then we went down to the pool. And I was sitting on this like cabana thing or whatever, this table. And then I was by the pool. And then I remember I was reading like something about the Travis Scott Astroworld incident. So I remember I was reading about the article on like Instagram or like YouTube. I don't know what I was reading. But I was laying next to my girl by the pool. I was reading on my phone. And I was like, "Oh, what is this? Travis Scott Astroworld incident." Then I was reading all these weird conspiracies about it, right? And then I see on text from my boss. She's like, "Why didn't you come to work today? Like I told you, you're gonna get suspended. Like you gotta tell me what the reason was." And then obviously I lied, guys, right? I was like, "Oh, I had like an emergency, like I had like a personal emergency. I don't need to tell you what it is, right?" You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like get off my ass, you know what I'm saying? And then she's like, "You know what? You're gonna be suspended for 1 week." So I remember I got my name taken off the schedule, and I didn't go to work like the first week of December. And so I was like, "What the fuck is this, right? This lady." So, anyways, I come back to work after she rescheduled me, and then she talked to me, and then I was just kind of like irritated with her already. And I remember the whole December, like there was like everybody was getting COVID. Like I don't know what it was, everybody was getting COVID. And then so I remember that I was barely even working over there because there was somebody that caught COVID, and I was always there. So everybody that was exposed to the COVID would have to stay home. So we was out for weeks. The store would shut down. December hits, January hits. I remember I go back to work on January 1st, freaking the first day of the year in 2022. They closed the store again because somebody else got COVID. I remember like the whole December, January, I barely even made money. Like I was only getting like every paycheck was like $100. And that was like the lowest paychecks I ever had. Most of my paychecks was either 800, 900 to $1,000 because I was always trying to bust out them hours. But yeah, and then February comes and it got to the point where I got another job at my high school job. And then yeah, my boss is like, "Oh, yeah, you gotta work at least 2 days a week to stay at the job, or I'm gonna take you off the schedule forever." So I said, "Okay, go put me on Tuesday, Thursdays." So for a couple of months, I was just working, night times. And then I remember I had a trip with my girl and her friends, and pretty much I told my boss, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna request off again. I have a trip that I have to go on." And she said, "If you go on the trip and you're not coming, and you don't go to work, I'm gonna pretty much terminate you." And so pretty much, obviously, right, the rebellious me was like, "Bro, I have to go on this trip. I already told you in advance." So I called the MIC. I told them I'm not coming in a couple days advance. Next thing you know, my coworkers text me, "Hey, bro, you're not on the schedule anymore." So I said, "Bro, I just didn't go back." She didn't text me. She didn't let me know. I didn't get any email. I don't know if I was on a schedule. I just didn't go back. So I don't know if I quit or I was terminated. But yeah, that was pretty much the history of it. And pretty much that same boss too, right after she was terminating all kinds of people, a lot of people, they were quitting. And I remember like in 2022 at the end of the year, because my girl used to work Taco Bell too, my girl was telling me that every night they would always be closing at like 10 p.m. The store is supposed to close at 1 a.m. now, right? 1 a.m. Then they clean up from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. and they go home at 2 a.m. for closing shift. And then yeah, like every night it was calling out. Not calling out, but every night they was closing the stores. Every night they were closing early. And I remember it got to the point where in 2023, I heard that my boss, she quit the job. I don't know if she was terminated. I don't know if she was fired. I don't know if she transferred, but I feel like she wasn't getting any good workers anymore. And it was just a downfall ever since then. It's like, bro, because the reason why, because you kick out all your good workers. You're not fair with your good workers. I remember one time too, I was trying to pick up my girl from her job, and I was already kind of like, I left the Taco Bell already. I was waiting for my girl at nighttime, and then my boss was in the parking lot, and she was like, she knew it was me, but she was kind of like, she was acting shy. She didn't want to make eye contact, and she just was walking inside of the door. I said, bro, you know what I'm saying? You don't like talk to me anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like, were you shy? You scared of what you did? So it got to the point where it was just so unfair. So that was pretty much my experience at Taco Bell. And even like the stupid stuff too. Like I remember when we used to take orders outside with the purple iPads. It was summertime in 2021, and it was so hot that day. I was like, my boss would always come outside. She'd be like, "No, you guys gotta wear your aprons and your hairnets and your hats outside." And me and my boy looking at each other, we're like, "Bro, why are you telling us what to do? Like, are you outside, standing outside, taking orders with these iPads in the hot sun? I didn't sign up for football training this summer. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh." So every time that she come outside, she would always give us like big, like stupid shit over stupid stuff, right? So I was like, "Bruh, what are you talking about?" And I remember too with the iPad situation, I kept telling them, I was like, I'll telling my boss, we don't, because what they do was with the they call it bellhop, right? What they used to do was it would be two people outside with the iPads, and what we used to do was two people would try and take orders with the iPads. Now we had a card machine. After we take the orders with the iPads, we would ask the customer, what are your initials, your first and last name initials, you know? And I was like, what the fuck, it's kind of stupid, right? Why can't we just tell them, oh, what's your name, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I don't know, right? Or like, what's the fucking your full name kind of thing? Oh, is your name John? Okay, write John. Oh, is your name John D? Okay, John D. Is your name Ashley? Okay, Ashley. They're telling me write initials. So I was writing the names because it was easier, right? So like inside in the drive-thru inside, it'll be much more easier, right? So we write the name. They was giving me shit, me and my boy shit for not writing the initials, which was fucking stupid. And then what we used to do was we would ask the customer after we take the orders, right? Are you gonna pay card or cashier? And then if they said card, which is majority of the time, we would have a card machine reader, and then we would tell them, okay, we can pay over here at the card machine, or if you're doing cash, you drive up to the window, you tell them the name of your order or your initials, and then you pay cash over there. The thing was, guys, the card machine it was pretty efficient, but it would kind of hold up the line. So like it would be like the line of Taco Bell would be blocking the main road, and there was another business next door to us, this local restaurant place, and they would get mad at Taco Bell because our line will be blocking their entrance of their parking lot, right? So a lot of the customers couldn't leave, a lot of customers couldn't drive through, and they would be getting mad because they wouldn't have business because the Taco Bell line would be blocking the way. So what I used to do, me and my boy, we would be like, okay, no matter if you're paying cash or card, pay at the window so that we get the line moving. So the thing was too, even if you paid with a card, this is the tricky thing. Even if you paid with a card, what it would do is we would do the transaction at the outside, and then the receipt it will pop up at the window. So there will be like if me and my boy, we was fucking fast as shit too. So if we did a test too. We said, okay, we're gonna try do initials all the time, and we're gonna try pay with card all the time to prove a point that this is not fast and efficient, and that it's only gonna confuse the people at the drive-thru. So we did all the cards. Every time that we paid with a card, we tell the customer the receipt is gonna pop up at the drive-thru. You pick up your receipt over there with the cashier, right? So the receipt's just spamming because me and my boy, we're taking orders, right? Two people, we're going card to card to card. We're fast, we're quick. We're taking a card, and then all the receipts are spamming out the receipt machine at the drive-thru. So everybody, all the people was getting confused because there was so much receipts coming out. They didn't know which receipt was what. They didn't know what order the food was. Like it would just be like random orders too. Like it was just crazy. So they'll be getting confused. They'll be making the wrong order. They'll be passing out the wrong order. There'll be glitches in the machine, and then it would just make the process more slower. So that's why we did that whole exercise and the whole experiment, and we was telling my boss, look, boss, you're not even working with us every single day. You don't know what it's like. Why am I gonna listen to your stupid ass procedure with, oh yeah, write the initials and take the card payment at the outside and get everybody confused? You're not even outside. You're not even there. Why are you telling us what to do? Right? So I didn't listen to her because it wasn't like a leader. She has to understand what it's like on the battlefield. Right? And like besides, oh yeah, I'm gonna bark orders and stuff, like you're not even there. You don't even know how it's like. So stop telling me what to do. This is more faster. This is more efficient. This is more quicker. You're getting everybody confused at the drive-thru. Everybody's passing out the wrong orders now. They don't know where the receipt is, right? They're getting confused. All the receipts are fucking flying out everywhere. Customers are being Karens and they want the receipt in case they get the wrong order passed out. So I was just like, that's how it was. And that's why it made the process even more slower. So what me and my boy used to do was we would take the order. We don't care if they pay a cash or card. We would write their real name down on the paper, no no initials, and then we would tell them, okay, drive to the window and pass out the order. I mean, go drive to the cashier and then you pay over there. But then they'll make a big deal. Oh, you're not doing the right thing. You're not doing the procedure. I said, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, you stupid, right? And you know what they used to tell me too? Don't take their service if they didn't have masks, even if he was outside taking orders. And that pissed me the fuck off. So it got to the point where every time me and my boss would always be butting heads over procedures because my whole philosophy was you're not even there. You don't even know what it's like. This is a new system, but you're not even there. You're just telling us what to do, but you're not even there. Why should I respect what you're saying? You're not credible. You don't know what it's like to take orders. You're not even there. So like stupid stuff like that. It got to the point where me and my boss was always butting heads. So I don't know why. Like she was, I guess she was getting to the point where she was always picking on me or picking on certain people because we was the type to be hard head. And then my boss would always be like, "Oh yeah, you're a good worker, but you're always hard head. Like you don't want to listen." I said, "I'm hard head because the way that you're doing it is fucking stupid. I don't care what your boss told you. Your boss is not here. She doesn't know how it is. Shut the fuck up." You know what I'm saying? So that was my whole history with Taco Bell. And I had good times. I had good memories. I learned a lot of different things. I know I'm kind of telling you guys the whole storyline of Taco Bell. But yeah, I got to the point where it didn't necessarily end the best way that I wanted it to end. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was kind of weird, and I just didn't like see them ever since then. Like my boss, she left. I don't even go there anymore. My girl obviously doesn't work over there. I don't know anybody who works there anymore. Like a lot of the friends and people that I knew, even the managers, they all quit and left. Like nobody's there already. Like so, it's like there's no connections or ties. Yeah, there's a couple people and like the old ladies and stuff like that, but like I don't even talk to them anymore. But yeah, it's kind of weird, right? And it just showed me too. Like you see how fast life can change. Like I don't know, man. I'm kind of getting sentimental, but you see how life can change just in an instant. Nobody works there anymore. You get freaking terminated. Your relationships get kind of scrambled, and like it's just a memory from the past. And like it has. I remember every day. It was kind of like my home. You know what I'm saying? Like I would wake up. I was close to everybody there. I was looking forward to go to work. It's pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just so nostalgic. And I remember it's kind of like my home. I wake up. My sisters was in high school at the time and middle school, and so I'd make sure that they're okay. They're in online school, online Zoom. I make sure that my dog is fed. My mom is home from because she's not working. My dad was still working, so I make sure everybody was good. And then after that, then I get ready for the day at like 7 o'clock. I go walk to work, or whenever I start to work, I just go, and then I go to work, and then I stay there all the way to 10 p.m. I go home like 10:30. I walk my ass home. I get a ride. I go shower. I go eat. Go sleep, and then after that, I do the same thing every day. Like that was pretty much my home. Like I used to be there every single day, and it was like I made a lot of friends. I made a lot of memories. I learned a lot of different skills. But I just wish it didn't end like that. And yes, guys, I admit that when I was 18, 19 years old, I was hard headed, but it was for good reasons. But the only thing is, I still agree with my 18, 19-year-old self on how I thought about the situation. I just don't agree with how I handled the situation. I should have been more professional about it. I should have been more, have a better conversation about it. I should have talked to my boss's boss and have a conversation about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I should have handled it in different situations. That's what I disagree with of my old self. But I fully still 100% agree that with my 18, 19-year-old self that it was a weird, my boss is unfair kind of thing, but I should have handled it in a different situation. But yeah, that's pretty much my fast food story. Been working there for 2 years during the COVID pandemic, and yeah, that was my life. That was a part in my life where I'll never forget it. It was sentimental, and I cherish it, all those moments. But yeah, it just shows me, life goes so crazy. Life changes so quick. Sometimes you think this is your life, and then it just changes. So yeah.